Hello, everybody. It's been a while. Okay. But I'm happy to be here. I've been wanting to share in here since a while, but because I've been doing these 5-day challenges, I've been super busy, lots of clients and client work, and yeah, so I haven't had as much time for content sharing, but I really want to because, of course, out of these coaching calls comes great content, right? Like teaching points where it's the challenges that we all have. They're not unique. So there's a lot, so much parallel, even if not everyone who hired me for these 5-day challenges is doing it for their businesses. Some are doing it for other situations in their lives, but there's just so many parallels. And it's really about how our ego holds us back from our true nature and from growth, and the growth that we can really achieve if we let go of our ego. So my intention with what I'm going to share with you guys now is to help you to recognize that and to see how your ego holds you back from being your true self, from being all you can be, from living, most of all, most importantly, from living freely. Whether it be in business, whether it be in relationships, whether it be in everything, really. There is a spiritual solution to every challenge. There's actually a book with that title, I think. But anyway, comment below and say hi if you're watching live or if you're on the replay, because I always appreciate those comments, as you know, because I want to interact with you, but also because I want this to be seen, and it doesn't really get seen with the algorithm that much, apparently. So let's do all we can to get this message out there. Okay, so the most common challenges, and I actually wrote a list of them. So I'm going to focus on business, but this applies to other things, like I say, apart from business. But typically in business, as an entrepreneur, if you're on Facebook or whatever social media platform, it doesn't matter, you're held back by beliefs, limiting beliefs, or just beliefs that hold you back from your freedom. Beliefs, and it really stems from a need to be accepted, a need to fit in. And it's a very primal need that we have. If you didn't long ago, if you were excluded from the tribe, you didn't survive. You needed to be with the tribe. So it is a survival instinct that we have. So I totally get it, and I have it too. Though I've made a lot of progress, I think, on just really letting go. And even, I'll be honest with you, just back from London, I was 5 days in London. It was awesome and very, very intense. Just stayed in three different, slept in 3 different beds, like 3 different locations, and saw lots of different people. And it was hectic. So I'm feeling pretty tired today, and I've just got a gap now between clients. So I was kind of like, I'm not, I don't have the usual energy for sharing. However, I want to share because I want to connect, and I have a good message to share. So even if it's not with the right vibe, because I feel like I've been out of work a few days, even if it's not with the right vibe, I'm going to show up, and I'm going to do it imperfectly, because that is number one, is we will hold ourselves back because it's not a so who is it that wants us to be perfect or to do a good job? It's not true nature. Why do you want to do a good job? Because, well, what will people think if you don't? What if you get it wrong? What if I waste people's time? What if they think I'm silly? Now, your ego is your identity. Your ego is it wants to appear good from the outside. And it's not just people who have big houses and cars who have big egos. You have a big ego if you're so consumed with what will people think of me if I mess up, etc. That comes from ego holding you back, right? So I just made a list of a few common beliefs that can hold you back. And what I would love you to do is recognize, where is this holding me back? And just to make that decision that I'm not going to be held hostage by those beliefs anymore, because on the other side of it is a beautiful freedom. Free to be you. If nobody was to ever watch this, that's okay with me. Obviously, I'm happy if you do. But if you don't, there's also a great lesson in it for me too. because do I need that validation? Do I need, this is all for me, you know, it's like, there's growth in this. You achieve freedom from just showing up and integrity with yourself because I want to. This is the work I love to do. I do believe that it's useful. I do believe I make a difference, and it lights me up. It fires me up. So this is the way I want to live. It's freedom. It's on my terms. It's a business on my terms, and you know, it's the way that I want to do it, not the way like, well, I mean, there is to a certain extent to understand marketing and how to be able to speak to people and help them to understand, you know, to speak to their pain points. And the pain points here would be, oh, well, my business isn't going well and I want to do better. Well, listen to this for how I can help you to make it go better. Drop beliefs like, I need to be understood. Now, obviously, I'm not suggesting that you don't need to be understood, so just talk shit. But it's being okay with not everybody understanding you. Like some people listening might say, what is Neve on about? Like she's all over the place. You know, what ego, identity, what. So basically our true nature, when you came into the world as a baby, you didn't have an ego. You weren't thinking, if I do this pose as a baby, they'll think I'm great, so I'll do it. Well, that comes later, right? When you know how to charm people and you see how you get a reaction and a response. But gradually what we learn is I get love if I do this, and I don't get love if I do that. So then we learn to be careful. And our job now, if you really want to have freedom in your life, inner freedom, does not come from getting the money, getting the house, getting the car, getting the partner, getting the friends. That can bring you joy for certain, and maybe not. Because if you're thinking that you need that external thing for your inner fulfillment, you're playing a losing game because it's never going to last. It's impermanent. But there is something inside of you. There is a stillness that is always there, no matter what, that never ceases, even when your body leaves. But I'm not going to go that spiritual today. But there is something that, you know, and you'll connect with it in meditation. And that's what you want. You want that connection with yourself and the integrity with yourself. And integrity with yourself comes from showing up with complete freedom in your self-expression without wanting to offend somebody, but, you know, not big. But if you're censoring yourself, saying, oh God, what if they don't understand what I'm saying? What if I lose my words? What if I lose my train of thought? Why would that be a big deal if you think about it? It's only a big deal if you're, you know, you could just say, oh, I lost my train of thought, don't know what I was thinking about, so I'll just talk about something else instead. What would be the problem in that? But we have these like rules, you know, oh my God, no, that would be a disaster. Why would it be a disaster? If you think about it, it would be a disaster because people would think I'm XYZ. Well, you know what? What if you could be okay with people thinking XYZ about you? Could you find space in your world to coexist? Space for people who judge you and believe that you're really not that good. I'm certain that there's people that think that about me. Does it bother me? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They're free to have their opinion of me. What's important is my opinion of me. Yeah. And if there's others that think I'm great, I'm happy that they think I'm great. You know, either way, I really, what I value is not letting that be, you know, letting myself be influenced by that. Of course, it lights me up when my work has a positive impact. And you just cannot use that as your key to happiness, because it will never make you happy, not for the long term. Okay, so here's another belief. I need lots of followers. I need lots of comments on my posts. Absolutely not true at all. From a business point of view, you know, if you have no comments on your posts, somebody could have read it and it could have hit touch them in a way where they reach out to you privately. But if you're needing to have, and then you're going to censor yourself, or you're going to energetically be, oh, nobody commented on it, nobody cares. And, you know, it can trigger a wound in us. And really, it's like, well, maybe actually somebody read it and it really made a difference in their lives. Yeah. You know, it could be just as true, right? I need things to take off, right? If you're in your business and it's not taking off for you, I need things to take off. If you have that energy, and I get it, obviously, you know, we've got to eat, we've got to have roofs over our head. But if you've got that energy, instead of letting go and trusting and following your flow in integrity, try that out. Try that out. Because also, you've the more you that you are, the more that you're going to attract your ideal clients. If you're trying to be something you're not, you've got to keep up that facade, and it gets tiring. You'll get caught. So it's like, it's a losing game. So just be yourself. And that means warts and all, you know, it's showing your imperfections, because they inspire also. If perfectionism is too hard to attain. So if you are perfect, you're not really doing justice to people. You know, if you show up with your imperfections, then they're going to say, oh, well, if she can do that, and she, like, for example, when I interview people, I notice I nod like that, like I look ridiculous. Like, if you look at some of my interviews, I'm like, looks ridiculous. But hey ho, I'm not going to delete it. It's like, it is what it is. And that's also freedom in not taking yourself so seriously. If you take yourself very seriously, you'll have a sleepless night over your nodding or something, you know. But it's like, well, what do I miss when I focus on that? I miss the fact that it was a really rich conversation, and that I really enjoyed, and I'm going to share it, and I'm going to try not to nod as much, for example, in the future. Yeah. Okay. I need to be understood. Oh, fantastic freedom in letting go of that. I need to be understood. Just trust that your message is going to come out, and it will be understood by the ones who need to understand it. And let go of the need to be understood by everybody, because you won't. I need to make sense. Again, do your best to make sense, but more often than not, that belief is holding people back. What if I say it wrong? I need to prepare. I need to think about it. I need to, yeah, it's like, what if you just like completely let rip and just decided from now on, I don't care if I show up. Like, you know, what if you showed up for 30 days and you really were quite a disaster, and then on day 31 something just clicked and you started to really share great messages? Would it be worth it for you to show up for those 30 days if you knew at the end of it that you were going to start getting good? That's what it takes. You know, you got to be prepared to drop your ego and show up very, very imperfectly in order to get to the other side of that. And the thing is also, you only need to help people a few steps behind of you. Don't compare. The ego will love to compare. You know, your followers will be different to other people's followers, right? So there's always people behind where you're at. So remember that too. And if somebody's too far ahead, they're not going to inspire them, and you know, it's going to not seem so attainable. So there's a market at every stage. And oh my God, as for people who say like, oh, the coaching, the market as a coach is too saturated, like there's too many coaches, so I'm not going to be a coach. That's like, what you want to do is come from a place of, you know, what will light my soul up? How can I help others? How can I impact them? The ego will have you say, oh, well, the market is crowded. But actually, do you know how many people do not have a coach who maybe would benefit from it if you showed up as the messenger, and they're like, oh my God, something about what she says that really hits the nail on the head for me. Imagine if I worked with her, what might be possible for me? The only way that they'll discover is you showing up and sharing your message consistently, and do it from a place of consistently, not, oh, I really hope that today's message is, you know, the one that gets clients. No, just keep showing up and keep sharing as often as possible. Yeah. Okay. I need them not to judge me. Oh, beautiful freedom. Is there space in your world for people to judge you? Well, if you say yes, then great, because it's actually nothing to do with you. Anyone that judges you, unless, you know, you can get some constructive, useful feedback, that's useful. But, you know, they've got their own stories, they've got their own triggers, they've got their own wounds, they've got their, you know, there's a lot of, there can be jealousy, there can be so many different things. It's not our business. What people think about, and I'm quoting Byron Katie here, but it's so true. It really is none of our business. It is so not our business. Why care what they think of you? If you know that you're showing up in integrity with yourself, unless you want some feedback from somebody who understands, whose feedback you value, and they understand what you're doing. I mean, if I was to ask my mother, who really does not understand this, my poor mother, let me keep her out of it. I don't know, some friend who has no interest in personal growth, who knows nothing about ego, and I say, oh, I'd love your feedback. Like, that would be ridiculous because they're not going to get it, right? So be careful where you get feedback from, and just know that some people are not going to get it. But the thing is, they'll scroll on because they're not interested in it. So it really is, there's no need to fear, oh my God, what if people judge me? And just be okay with it if they do, because you'll live a free life. I need to I need to not make a fool of myself. That's actually my favorite one. And there's lots more. Those are just examples that I just quickly wrote down, but I need to not make a fool of myself. I mean, of course, none of us want to make a fool of ourselves. I have a traumatic childhood experience, mildly traumatic childhood experience of that. And yeah, back then, of course, I think I probably recounted that moment that was about 30 seconds for possibly years in my head, which is very, very sad. But, what if, like, what's the big deal if you make a fool of yourself? Like, do you think, oh, well, but I have these clients, I really value their opinion of me. Do you? If they, like, do you, and it's also around self-trust. Do you actually think that you'll make a fool of yourself, that like some gibberish will come out of your mouth? Or could you trust yourself to, maybe lose your place, maybe forget to say some things you wanted to say, but can you be okay with that? Can you be okay with, like, and then what is making a fool of yourself? It's like, it's that definition even, it's like, is it even possible? You're just showing up, expressing yourself, and from a place of courage. And this is what I want to talk about as well. It's like, it takes courage to be yourself. It takes courage to show up freely. It takes courage. It takes courage. It's also a risk. What if nobody listens? What if nobody cares? What if I just spent that 20 minutes sharing about all those things and nobody ever heard it? Well, you know what? If that was to happen for this training, then, well, maybe I'm the one that needs to hear it. And maybe I'm the one that needs to be reminded of it. Yeah. I'm here sharing about, it's not about the likes and the comments. Maybe I need to really, really hear that. Yeah. So if we don't, and that's the beautiful thing, just going back to the spiritual side of things, that, if you see yourself as a spiritual being having a human experience, that everything is a guidance, every trigger, every pain is showing you where you're not yet free. Every pain, every challenge, every arguing with your reality where you say, it shouldn't be happening, it shouldn't be happening. All of that is an opportunity to practice letting go. And that's what it really ultimately is about. It's about letting go of the need for people's approval, letting go for the need to do things perfectly, letting go of the need for those likes, letting go of, it's all letting go. And it's a beautiful process. When you have also, it's mind clarity, but you'll get a physical, it will be lighter. I had a Facebook group before called Let Go and Live Lighter. And it really is that. It's all about letting go. How would you live your life differently if you completely let go of getting it right? You completely let go of needing validation from others. If you completely let go and you just decided to show up as a free spirit and enjoy it, and then maybe you don't show up, and you just, but you say, well, this is something that I really want to try. Now, when I say try, do it for at least 30 days. And if it's not working, by the way, I would say, well, hire a coach, get someone to help you so that you can, you can decide, do you want to give up or do you want to keep going and keep going and keep going? I just worked with a client this morning. I was saying, over the years, like, there's been some moments where it just really was not working for me, but I'm like a cockroach, I don't know. This is what I do. I love to do this. This is, I fully believe my purpose. So just keep showing up. And you know what? Then with the consistency, things get back on track again. So consistency. And there was somebody quite very famous, I don't remember who, but they were talking about the thing that was the best predictor of success, consistency. So I've not been very consistent lately, but it's okay because I've been at this a long time. And I did write some blogs, I think, recently, but yeah, I haven't been as consistent with my lives, but it's my intention to be this week. And then I'm away in Santiago, Chile from Saturday for a week, so I'll be away again. Quite a busy month, so lots of awesome things happening in my life right now, which I'm really grateful for, feeling really blessed. I would say those things, who knows, but I think just I meditate every morning to Dr. Joe Dispenza's meditations. I visualize what the type of life I want, and without attaching to it, because I know that those external things are not what's going to bring me joy. However, it is fun to have great adventures and experiences in this human playground. We are here really to play. And you can only do that when you are living freely. So do you want to live stuck behind the fear? And that's ultimately really what it's about. Do you want to live in fear, or do you want to live freely? The choice is yours, and we do have free will. And if you think, well, I know I want to live freely, but I just have so much fear, and I get it, past trauma can really bring up like a serious, we can get sick, etc. And we can continue to work through it and continue to release and continue with a clear mind to get to the other side of it. So that thing holding us back from our freedom no longer holds us back. I hope this served you. Comment below, let me know, or not, don't comment, so that I get to evolve. Oh my God, it says 0 post reach, guys, 0 post reach. So that means that it's not even, Facebook is not showing it. So yeah, I might share it out and put it on YouTube so that people do get to see it, because I think it's a very important message. Yeah, and also if you want to work with me, message me, and I'll let you know how I can support you to bring you through the fear to get to the other side, so that you can live in integrity with yourself, which is the most important thing, to be in integrity with yourself first, and to get clear on what would that look like, living in integrity with yourself, and then to live that. To live a fired up life rather than a life of fear. Lots and lots of love. I'll be back soon with more sharings.